Sit down, smoke a bowl. It's time for the Fire Safety Meeting, Movie Edition. And now, your hosts, Travis and Jesse.
I'm Travis.
And I'm Jesse. Welcome to the Fire Safety Meetings Rehash Monday, where we review movies before their DVD release. First up this week, we have 2016's Gods of Egypt. It's rated PG-13 and has a runtime of 2 hours and 7 minutes. It's directed by Alex Proyas. It stars Brenton Thwaites as Beck, Nikolai Coster-Waldau as Horus, Gerard Butler as Set, Chadwick Boseman as Thoth, Courtney Eaton as Zaya, Elodie Yung as Hathor, and Jeffrey Rush as Ra. So this movie is about a thief named Beck and his girlfriend Zaya who go to the coronation of Horus. His father is abdicating his throne to Horus so that he can become king.
Yeah, and his uncle shows up.
Yeah,
Gerard Butler.
And decides that he should be king instead of Horus. And so he takes the throne from the father and son, takes over Egypt. So I should tell you, this movie takes place on an alternate Egypt, and the gods live on the planet with all their worshippers.
Yeah, it took me a minute to figure that out. I was like, why are they so much taller than all the people? Why are those people so small?
So they're all like a foot taller, they have like a shiny glow to them, and they bleed gold, which I thought was kind of cool. They can also turn into animal deities.
Yeah, Animorphs.
It looks like Animorphs or Transformers. So Set takes over as the king, and he steals Horus's power from him, which is in his eyes, and he banishes him from Egypt. Now that Set has taken over, everything has changed. Now, in order to get into heaven, you have to pay your way in with the riches that you collect while you're alive. Anyone who is poor doesn't get to get in.
And just about everyone is turned into slaves.
Absolutely. They're all building things for, like a great tower to Ra, to give him praise.
The sun god.
Yeah. So now Beck, he finds out that Zaya is a slave for a architect who happens to have built a lot of the complex structures that Set has made since he's become a king.
The safes.
I believe it was like a year later after all that, after the coronation. He decides that the only way to stop Set is to sneak into this crypt and steal Horus's eye back so he can give him to him so that he can defeat Set so that everyone doesn't have to be a slave anymore. So what do you think of the movie? Before I go into my review, what do you think of it?
I really wasn't a big fan of this movie. I thought it was an Egyptian Lion King with Animorphs in it. His uncle comes in, takes the throne from him. He goes off till someone finds him and gives him the confidence or his eyes to come back and take his rightful place at the throne.
Right.
And the whole Animorphs, I don't know, I thought the animation, the effects were a little cheesy, and the music, I don't know if it was a certain type of music they used, but it reminded me of something you'd see in a bad 80s movie, using bad graphics, trying to get the movie by. I really didn't like it. I only gave this movie one joint.
Wow, that was really rough. So, I thought this movie was okay. It didn't try to break any barriers. It didn't try to, didn't try anything new at all. It was just an action flick. But I enjoyed it. I thought Beck was fantastic. He was one of the best parts of the movie. I think you agree with me.
Yes.
Him and Zaya, their relationship was very sweet. And Nikolai Coster-Waldau, who played Horus, I think he did a good job because he is used to playing this type of fallen angel character who loses everything, but then he's able to get back his power by any means necessary, even if it means, lie, cheat, borrow, kill. You got to do it.
He did pretty good in this movie. I just think you have a hard-on for him since he's from the Game of Thrones.
Absolutely. I'm going to give a shout-out. House Lannister. All right. So the deity forms that they turned into, that was cool, though, right? You didn't think that was, like, them flying around and fighting each other?
I thought it was all right, just a little cheesy. I know what they were going for, and I know the idea was good. I like how they did it. I just don't think the result was very well.
They threw in the obligatory chase scene when they were going through the pillars that they made for Ra, that Set made for Ra. They went through it, and he ended up destroying it by flying through it or whatever. Elodie Yung, she was in Daredevil the second season. I don't think you've seen that yet. She plays Electra Nachios in that. So I loved her in this. She played the goddess of love, Hathor. She is Horus's love interest in the movie, but she is forced to do what she has to do in order to keep Horus alive. So she offers herself to Set so that he may live. So we have a lot of Chadwick Boseman in this in all our movies. How many is that, in like 2 in a row?
Yes, he was Captain America.
I guess it wasn't 2 in a row. Okay, so we have been seeing a lot of Chadwick Boseman recently, and I think he did a decent job in this. He played Thoth, the god of wisdom.
I thought he was hilarious.
Yeah, he was really good. Jeffrey Rush played Ra, the sun god, and he was forced to fight the shadow demon monster thingy.
That's one of the things I thought was just a little too much.
Rob's busy. He has to fight that thing. Also, it doesn't destroy the.
But it was really necessary to show him fighting it.
Yeah, that's what he has. He's like, hold on, I got shit to do. I'll be right back. And then
I don't know, but they put a lot of intensity in him going over there.
I know. I can get past his chrome dome. I've never seen him with a shaved head. So I enjoyed this movie overall. I give it 2 joints out of 5.
The next movie we have up is 2016's 999. Rated R with a runtime of 1 hour and 55 minutes. Directed by John Hillcoat. Starring Chiwetel Ejiofor, Casey Affleck, Anthony Mackie, Woody Harrelson, Aaron Paul, Kate Winslet, Gal Gadot, Norman Reedus, Teresa Palmer, and Michael Kenneth Williams.
Don't forget Coastin Collins Jr.
Can't forget him. This action crime drama is centered around a 5-man crew made up of ex-military, ex-cops, and corrupt cops that are planning to murder a fellow officer to commit a heist on the other side of town. This was a 2-heist movie. Their opening one was a well-written / planned, precise, and just plain badass. Gave me high hopes for the movie, even after seeing Casey Affleck's name in the opening credits. In between the heists, they attempt to give us some kind of storyline involving the Russian mafia, a Russian baby mama, junkie siblings, greed, and corrupt police. See, Casey Affleck is an honest cop thrown in and partnered up with one of the 5 crew members. And he also happens to be the nephew of Woody Harrelson, which is the detective that is investigating the initial heist. I thought this movie had real potential with the combination of the director and the cast, but unfortunately, I thought they dropped the ball. To me, it was a failed Scorsese attempt. I thought the storyline was rough and poorly assembled. To break it down, I wouldn't pay for this movie. I'd wait till it comes out on the movie channels. I only gave this movie 2 joints.
Well, I saw this as a weak version of The Departed. I still enjoyed it more. I like the casting of a lot of these people. They worked well together. I like Clifton Collins Jr., Anthony Mackie. I thought they did a good job. I'm not a big fan of Aaron Paul. I don't think I'll ever.
Well, I'm a big fan of Breaking Bad, and I like the kid. I just think he hasn't found the right role, or at least the right movie.
What was your one gripe with the movie? Was it just it didn't put it together well enough? The characters weren't fleshed out?
It wasn't put together well enough. It seemed like they were too jumbled, trying to give us the focus on too many spots at one time.
Right. So I like this movie a little bit more than you did. I like Gods of Egypt more, but I'm going to give this one 2 out of 5 joints as well, but it's a little bit lower than Gods of Egypt. I just think they really didn't put it all together like they were supposed to. It was kind of just rushed in. They're just like, we're going to do this. And that was what they did. Yeah,
for a 2-hour movie, you shouldn't feel rushed.
Right, absolutely. We're going to take a commercial break. We'll be back in a moment.
Roll it up.
Like when you live in a van with 3 other people and a dog. Air quality can be a pretty high priority, especially when showers are far and few between. Ruh-roh. Normally, if a dog farted in a crowded van, you would want to throw yourself from the vehicle for a little fresh air. But if you have Shag'em air freshener, one spray will unmask and knock out those mystery smells. Thanks, Raggy. No problem, buddy, old pal. Shag'em air fresheners is environmentally safe and non-toxic to kids and pets. They're sold at a bodega near you. There's one, and there's one, and there's one. Oh, and there's another. There's one too. They're everywhere.
Welcome back from our commercial break. Don't forget, when you stop in a bodega, pick up Shag 'em air fresheners. We're going to start our second half of our show where we discuss the directors and actors' previous bodies of work and give you some recommendations.
The director, Alex Proyas, he has directed some of my favorite movies of all time. So we're going to go 1994, The Crow, starring...
Brandon Lee.
That's right. It was the movie where he died before he finished filming it, and it's a cult classic. Watching it now, it's not as good as I remember it being, but it's still like a movie I can put on and watch anytime. So if you haven't seen The Crow, watch it. Bruce Lee's son, his last movie, his best movie probably. Check it out.
Let me ask you, do you think his career would have kept going up, or you think he would have pedaled off?
I think
and
he'd a
gone-
little... Well, you know, the action flick kind of took a real downturn towards the end of the 90s, where they stopped making so many, like, you know, those real cheesy action flicks, and they kind of go more professional. So I think it would have. I don't think he was that strong of an actor. I would have liked to see him do well, though. Like, maybe he could have evolved into something different. Kind of like, what's his name? From Kung Fu. The Legend Continues.
Oh, David Cassidy?
Not
No.
David.
David Carnigan.
David Carradine.
Carradine, that's it.
And, you know, if he could evolve into something else and, you know, kind of accepting that you are a little campy and then just roll with it. He also directed 1998's Dark City. I don't know if you've ever seen Dark City. It's where a group of men who have special powers control this city, and they change the way the city looks and where everyone is inside the city, gives them new memories so they can control them. So everyone lives in the city and they change who they are every night, never remembering the night before. They just continue on with their lives like they were supposed to, just living as someone else. It's a very confusing movie. It's also starring Rufus Sewell, who was in Gods of Egypt. So, you know, I think he definitely found a way to bring him in.
He also did 2004 I, Robot with Will Smith, Bridget Moynihan.
Bridget Moynihan. Yeah, I like that movie too.
That was a good movie. Will Smith is a detective in the future when there's droids, bots, personal robots.
Yeah, personal robots, yeah.
And he doesn't trust them. He thinks that one day they're going to go crazy and take over the world.
Yeah.
And his paranoia pays off. A lot of action. Good, entertaining movie. I think Shia LaBeouf's even in there for a little bit.
Yeah.
But maybe I shouldn't have mentioned him. Maybe some people won't watch that now. But Will Smith, good movie. Who else we got?
We have Nikolai Coster-Waldau. So we're going to start it off with a big bang. I'm doing it again. Game of Thrones came out in 2011. If you haven't watched it, check it out. He plays the Kingsguard, Jaime Lannister. He is a ruthless sword fighter who fights anyone who will fight him. And he is probably the best fighter in the series. So if you haven't seen it, I'm not going to spoil anything else. Check it out.
I remember him from 2008's New Amsterdam, a TV show that was on TV.
Did not see that.
It was okay.
Okay.
It was okay. But it was good seeing him that he is getting roles and he's building himself a nice career. So I look
He's
forward
been
to
doing
seeing him
it.
in more
He's
movies.
done like 40 movies. So it was really hard to pick a couple. So we have 2014's The Other Woman. I promise I've only seen this movie once, but I enjoyed it, so I'm going to recommend it to you. He plays Mark King. He's the husband of Leslie Mann's character, who is cheating on her with Cameron Diaz's character, who is also cheating on both of them with Kate Upton's character. It's funny. Kate Upton's in it. Check it out.
Sounds like people are getting a lot of action in that movie.
It is, absolutely. And last on my list, I have 2005's Kingdom of Heaven. He has a very small part in it. He plays the city sheriff. So he's really small, but it's a reason to watch that movie. You ever seen Kingdom of Heaven?
I have.
It stars Orlando Bloom. It's the one where they're in Jerusalem fighting the Crusades of the 12th century. Like I said, Nikolai Coster-Waldau is not really in it, but it's a good flick. It's got Eva Green, Liam Neeson. So make sure you check that out. You have any more for Nikolai?
I do not.
Okay. So move on. We have Gerard Butler. Do you have anything you want to start with?
I do have a couple. There's 2009 Law Abiding Citizen with Jamie Foxx and Leslie Bibb. Gerard Butler witnessed his wife and child be raped and murdered, and the people that committed this crime just get a slap on the wrist. So being a smart guy, he comes up with a way to get revenge. And Jamie Foxx plays a lawyer that's trying to prove that he's actually committed these crimes, but he can't. It's a great movie. Jamie Foxx does awesome in it.
Absolutely.
Gerard Butler does great in it. 2009, Law-Abiding Citizen.
I have 2006 300 because that's easy. He plays King Leonidas, the
This
leader.
is Sparta!
He plays the leader of the Spartan army. Takes 300 men and a couple hundred of other soldiers, and he holds them off at the Thermopylae Pass.
That was a great movie. That's where I first noticed him, actually. And did you know Zack Snyder directed that movie?
I did not know. Yeah, actually, I did know that. Yes,
Also on Gerard Butler, Gamer.
I have that one on my list. He stole it from me.
Amber Valletta, Michael C. Hall, Dexter.
He plays a convict named Cable who is in this sort of kind of pit fighting TV show where regular people get to control them through mind control technology.
It's like Call of Duty, but you actually control real people.
You control real convicts who literally kill each other, and if they can survive certain amount of episodes without dying, they get a release. So you should check it out. Action packed. So then my last movie for him is 2013 Olympus Has Fallen with Morgan Freeman, the greatest actor on the planet.
Yeah, he also has his second movie, London Has Fallen.
Yeah, that's what bring it up. Absolutely.
We're going to be watching that in the next couple of weeks,
So
too.
won't give too much away. Check those movies out. Gerard Butler has played so many like mythical, legendary people. He's played Set in this movie, Gods of Egypt. He played Leonidas, the leader of the Spartan army. He played the great Norse legend Beowulf. He plays Attila the Hun. Do you remember the movie Dracula 2000?
I do.
He was Dracula in Dracula 2000. That was a terrible movie.
He was everywhere.
And he was also the Phantom of the Opera. So he has quite a resume of things he's played. And it just seems he always plays the badass.
I do recommend another movie. It's a girly movie. The Bounty Hunter. Him and Jennifer Aniston, 2010. His ex-wife, Jennifer Aniston, skipped bail, so he's got to go pick her up and bring her back, and he's happier than shit to be bringing her back in handcuffs. For a movie to watch with your female companion, this would be one of the movies I recommend.
Absolutely. And last but not least, Jeffrey Rush, who has been in many, many movies. First up is he was in all the Pirates of the Caribbeans. He's Captain Barbossa. So he was really good in those. 1999's House on Haunted Hill. Do you remember that movie?
Yes.
He played...
Catherine Zeta-Jones?
Yes. He played Stephen E. Price, the proprietor of the homes, trying to give away the prize.
Yeah.
Okay. And the King's Speech. He was the King's speech therapist. And it was a good movie. I believe it won an Oscar.
Well, I'd like to mention another actor and actress that were in Gods of Egypt that are on the rise. Courtney Eaton.
Okay.
She was in 2015 Mad Max Fury Road with Tom Hardy and Charlize Theron.
It's a great movie.
That is a great movie. So keep an eye out for her. She will have more in the future and see what she brings us. And then also Brenton Thwaites. He carried Gods of Egypt for me. I thought his acting was good, his character was good, and I look forward to seeing him in the new Pirates of the Caribbean. Next up, we're going to hash out 999, directed by John Hillcoat. In 2012, he did Lawless with Tom Hardy, Shia LaBeouf, Guy Pearce, Gary Oldman. This movie was set in the Depression era about bootleggers being threatened by the law. Tom Hardy does an awesome job. Shia LaBeouf, he actually does a pretty damn decent job. Guy Pearce, great as always. Gary Oldman. John Hillcoat also directed 2009, The Road.
I love that movie. That is a very good movie.
Viggo
Mortensen.
and Charlize Theron.
That's right. She bounces.
She's everywhere. She's making money. And there's also someone else in that movie, Cody Smith McPhee.
Okay.
He's going to play Nightcrawler in the upcoming
Nice.
X-Men movies. The Road is about father and son slowly traveling to the sea.
In a post-apocalyptic future. And as they go, they run across other survivors who are not very friendly, to say the least.
It's a dangerous world,
But
especially in the
And
post-apocalyptic.
they're forced to leave because they've run out of food and ammo and water, so they have to get out there and meet people or find a way to sustain.
It was a good movie, though.
Absolutely. A little depressing, but it was a good movie. I have Chiwetel Ejiofor, and 2013's 12 Years a Slave. He plays Solomon Northup, a successful African-American businessman during the slave era who gets abducted by some southern businessmen trying to get more farm hands. He's the one who gets taken in, and they don't let him go. He gets out 12 years later to find his family. Very good movie, very sad movie. Also starring Lupita Nyong'o. And he was also in 2007's American Gangster.
With Denzel Washington.
That's right. He plays Huey Lucas, which is Frank Lucas's nephew? Cousin?
They're related.
Yeah, they're related. So, you know, the cocaine train in New York, you know, in the 70s, I think.
Well, they did another movie together in 2006, Inside Man, with Denzel Washington, Jodie Foster, and Clive Owens. He plays Denzel Washington's partner as they investigate, or as they deal with a hostage situation, a bank robbery that Clive Owens is putting on. And Jodie Foster is a consultant that has to come in and negotiate between these two parties and the person that paid her.
Right.
Also, speaking of Jodie Foster, she just had Money Monster open this weekend.
Oh, wow. Let's go see that in theaters. Now, last, I had to bring it up because I love Firefly. Chiwetel Ejiofor was in Serenity 2005, and it's a made-for-home movie that the fans clamored for after Firefly on Fox was canceled after the first season. So, you know, all the fans of the show were like, make something else, end the story. Joss Whedon made Serenity as to just end it all, you know, because we didn't get what we wanted. It's a fantastic show. It's a fantastic movie. Watch it in order. Great flick.
Next up, we're going to talk about Norman Reedus. In 1999, he did Boondock Saints with Sean Patrick Flannery and William Dafoe. Sean Patrick Flannery and Norman Reedus are Catholic brothers.
Yes.
Irish Catholic brothers.
Irish, the most Catholic of
Yes.
all.
They get in a fight with the Russian mob and end up killing them. And after that, they end up sleeping in the police station, and God speaks to them pretty much saying, hey, it's okay, go kill all these mob guys.
Yeah.
Don't worry about
Lord's
it.
working.
Do my work.
Kill all sinners. And they are very successful.
It's a little cheesy movie, but it's funny, it's entertaining, there's action. There talks about doing a third one.
What's his name? What's their comedic sidekick? The one who's just so crazy, coked out of his mind.
Rocco.
He was the best part of the movie. He was so funny. He tried so hard to fit in with them, but he just was not cut out for that kind of work. Rocco.
David Della Rocco.
That's his real name?
That's his real name.
I really reached for that one. Fantastic flick. Check that one out for sure.
I'd also like to mention Boondock Saints 2. That also has Clifton Collins Jr. in it.
That's right, it does. Absolutely.
As Romeo. Great two movies. There's been talks about a third movie. I hope to see it.
Right.
I'd also like to mention 2010's The Walking Dead.
You son of a god.
Yeah.
That's my only one I put on my list. Great,
Yeah.
great show.
It is a great show.
Absolutely it is. It's about zombies. Watch it.
It's on AMC.
It's on Netflix.
Netflix.
You can get the first, I think, 8 seasons for free if you already have Netflix at least.
I don't think they've done 8 seasons.
Whatever it is, you can watch them all except for this last one that just
You can
came.
binge watch these motherfuckers.
Oh,
You can sit
and
down on a nice lazy day and hit play.
Absolutely.
Who else we got?
I have Casey Affleck. Yeah, you don't want to talk about him, I know. But he was good in Gone Baby Gone. It's where a little group goes missing. He helps find it.
Took the damn kid.
There you
go.
He probably did. 1997, Good Will Hunting. He played Morgan O'Malley. Will Hunting and Ben Affleck, best friend, or one of the friends. And he's, Ben Affleck's little brother, so
I think Ben had to call in a favor to get him in there.
But they put him in
Mom's been nagging me.
Hey, Casey, you want to be in this movie? You got to jack off in this movie. And he's like, no, come on, Ben. And you got to do it. Shut the fuck up. So we're going to move on.
Well, I will mention 2001's Ocean's 11 with Brad Pitt and George Clooney, just because Brad Pitt and George Clooney had such great chemistry
Yeah,
in
that
that
first movie
movie.
was very good.
The second two, you could skip.
Well, the second one was okay, but the third one was too much.
Yeah.
So we already talked about Anthony Mackie in a previous episode. If you want to check out Captain America Civil War, it's on our website. But I will say 2009 Notorious, where he plays Tupac Shakur. So that's all I'm going to say about him.
We got Woody Harrelson. This one's a fun one for me. You ready for this? I know you're going to like my choices.
Okay.
You ready?
Okay.
We'll go old school first. 1992. White Man Can't Jump.
Oh, Wesley Snipes, son.
And Rosie Perez.
We going sizzler. We going sizzler.
Woody Harrelson and Rosie Perez are...
They're vagabonds. They move from place to place using Woody Harrelson's winnings from hustling people at the basketball court to, you know, kind of get away from the mob who's chasing them after they borrowed a large amount of money and didn't pay him back. So they're moving from place to place trying to get away. They meet Sydney, the baddest man on the blacktop, and they form this unusual...
Oh, he gets hustled.
Team. Yeah.
Woody Harrelson gets hustled by Wesley Snipes. Rosie Perez pretty much kicks in his door and makes an agreement between... The wives make a deal that these
work
two now have to
together,
go out
yeah.
and hustle to get all the money. One of the funniest scenes that pops into my head, Wesley Snipes' apartment gets robbed. You remember that?
Okay.
And his wife is out on the balcony. You remember what she's yelling?
Yeah.
This is bullshit. Vista views. There ain't no vista. There
ain't no views. There ain't no
Hell
vista.
no ain't no view and no vista.
Oh yeah, absolutely. What was the one question she practiced the most? Do you remember Rosie Perez? Words that start with the letter Q.
Words that start with the letter Q.
So no, my favorite scene in that is where, in order to get Rosie Perez's character onto Jeopardy, which is what she's the whole movie she's studying to be on Jeopardy, and Sydney just happens to know a guy who's a security guard on the lot where Jeopardy is filmed. So Sydney takes him to the basketball court, and the guy plays him in a game of basketball. All right, but they don't actually play. He says that if he can make one shot, a hook shot from half court, he will find a way to get his wife on Jeopardy. So there's two basketball hoops. One, I believe, is Africa. It's got a flag of Africa on the backboard. And the other one is the USSR. So he goes to shoot on the Africa one, and they go, hey, man. He goes, nah, man. You don't get to shoot at Africa. You have to shoot at the USSR. He's like, what the fuck? And then he chucks up the fucking hook shot, and he swishes that shit, and Rosie Perez gets to go on fucking Jeopardy.
It was a great movie.
Absolutely.
Wesley Snipes and Woody Harrelson did another movie together. Can you name it? I'll give you a clue. It had Jennifer Lopez in it.
No. What is it?
Money Train.
Oh, I love Money Train, dude.
I'm going to hit him. No, you're not going to hit him. Why not? Because I'm going to hit him. No, you're not going to hit him. Why not? We're both going to hit him.
I'm like, dude.
But that's not one of the movies I'm bringing up. Another one of the movies bringing up is 1999, Play It to the Bone.
Oh, yeah, with Antonio Banderas. Two over-the-hill boxers.
Getting a final call to come to Vegas and fight for opening for someone, right?
Oh, yeah.
Or were they
had to fight each other. They have never fought each other, but they had been best friends forever. And so they always promised they would never fight each other. And, you know, to open for the big match, they decide that they're going to fight each other for one big last payday, because the one who wins gets a shot at the champion.
Yep.
And so they go training, and Rene Russo's in it, right?
Yeah, Rene Russo.
So as they're training, they are traveling to Las Vegas from, I don't remember where they are, but it's a long journey.
I think just from L.A.
So
a 3-hour drive has taken them like a day and a half, but they're riding together to go fight each other
with both their same ex-girlfriend, Rene Russo. That's both their ex-girlfriend. She actually managed both of them at some point before they kind of slow down from their careers. And so it's them dealing with each other, even though they're friends. Since they're going to fight each other, they start having this rivalry that, well, I could always beat you back in the day. I'm going to beat you when we get there. And things get out of hand. And they end up fighting each other, and watch the movie. and you find out who wins.
I'm going to have to correct you. It wasn't Rene Russo.
Oh shit, that's way different.
It was, who was it? You know it, the other redhead.
Lolita Davidovich?
Yes, that was it. And also Lucy Liu was in this movie,
That's
too.
right, she was. Doesn't Woody Harrelson take her on some tires or something?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Natural Born Killers. It's always a good one. Him and, what's her name?
Juliette Lewis?
Juliette Lewis, yes. That's always a good movie.
That movie was based on two murderers, robbers that are on a bunch of drugs going around killing people.
Mm-hmm.
It like an acid trip Bonnie and Clyde.
Absolutely.
It was a pretty good movie, a little shaky camera work, but it was definitely a good movie.
Yeah.
I'd also like to throw in there, just because, why not, 2009, Zombieland. Jesse Eisenberg, Emma Stone.
We had to have talked about this movie.
I know we did, but we're going to
absolutely.
roll it over.
That's fine. Yeah, that was a fantastic flick. Clifton Collins Jr., I think it's our last one for tonight.
Looks like it.
2013's Pacific Rim, where he plays Ops Tendo Choi, and he is the main programmer or mechanic, whatever you want to call it, on those humongous mechs that they fight those monsters with. It's a good flick. Monsters coming from the ocean near the Pacific Rim, coming out humongous. They create big robots to chop them up and kill them. And they're really successful for a while, but these monsters keep getting bigger. And so they have to, raise the stakes. And then last but not least, I have 2009's Star Trek. Clifton Collins plays Eric Bana's character's second-hand man, right-hand man, Aiel. It's a good movie. Chris Pine.
I got a movie that he didn't play a very big part, but it was very, very crucial to the storyline.
Okay.
2001's The Last Castle. Robert Redford.
That was a good movie. That's a Brad Pitt, right?
No.
Oh, was that the prison one?
Yeah, Robert Redford, Mark Ruffalo, Clifton plays Aguilera.
Okay.
Aguilar.
Okay.
And he's a little slow, but he was a soldier and he's locked up. That was a
Yeah,
great
because it's
movie.
a military prison. That's what it
Yes.
is.
Yeah, Robert Redford is a lieutenant general that is sent there. And pretty much everyone all the prisoners start forming around him and give James Gandolfini, the warden, a really hard time and try to change the rules and everything in there.
That movie had a lot of controversy because in the posters, you remember the poster? How it had the flag, but it was upside down to show that it had been taken.
And it was after 9/11.
Yeah, people were so pissed about that. But they were also pissed about the two towers being seen in Spider-Man's eyes right before it was about to come out. Those posters.
Well, remember Collateral Damage? That got pushed off too.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a decent flick.
It was all right. It was pretty good. I mean, the way action Schwarzenegger movies go, it was pretty good. Yeah, I'll agree with you on that one. All right, that's going to wrap it up for this Monday rehash. Look for these movies out for DVD and digital releases tomorrow. You can find us at thefiresafetymeeting.wix.com/podcasts. There you'll be able to find our links to our YouTube, our Twitter, our Facebook, and you can even find our RSS feed there, where you can download our episodes and take them on the go.
Of course, why wouldn't you?
But you could also find us at YouTube.
Stick and Swoop. 3 words, Stick and Swoop.
You can also find us at Twitter.
We are Stick and Swoop at Fire Safety Meet.
And on Facebook at the Fire Safety Meeting.
That's right. We'll be back next week.
Thanks for listening. Share us, like us, leave us your comments, email us.
Questions.
Tell us how we're doing. If we're fucking retards, you want us to shut the hell up, tell us.
Absolutely. We're okay with constructive criticism. We prefer the good stuff, but, we'll take what we can get. A little interactive with us. Any ideas you want to throw us our way? We'll be glad to listen to them.
If you don't like us, you can send the emails to Kanye West at G. Thank you. You guys have a good one. We'll see you next week.
Later, guys.
Meeting adjourned.